Hello besties, welcome back to my channel, and you already know from the title, I want to do a spring TBR, just put this out into the universe that I really want to get to these books by the end of the spring, and these will be basically books that I will prioritize in my next TBRs. The first book that I want to read is right here, A Fragile Enchantment. I mean, this aesthetic screams spring and I'm in love with this cover. It just looks stunning. This is a YA fantasy romance and it is a historical fiction standalone by Alison Saft. In this book, we follow a magical dressmaker. She has magic in her blood that lets her stitch emotions and memories into fabric, and she gets commissioned to design the wardrobe for a royal wedding in the neighboring kingdom, and she discovers that the marriage is part of a political strategy and that there is no real love between the couple. And our seamstress and the groom start to build a friendship and they start to grow closer. And a columnist notices their chemistry and threatens her to cause a scandal if she does not help him uncover the royal family's secrets. This book is set in a Regency England-inspired fantasy world, and it is pitched as a sweeping romance threaded with intrigue, unforgettable characters, and a love story for the ages. And this sounds so perfect, and I cannot wait to get to it. The next book that I really want to pick up is Throne of the Fallen by Kerri Maniscalco. It's an adult fantasy romance, and this is part of the new interconnected standalone series set within the Kingdom of the Wicked world, where we follow the other princes of hell. I don't know much about this one. I only know that we follow the Prince of Hell, Envy, and that there is a deadly game, and of course our prince is determined to win, but his path will cross with an exceptionally talented painter. Her name is Camilla, and the story goes from there. As you probably know, the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy is one of my absolute favorite enemies to lovers series, and I am so excited to be back into this world. I also put this book in my 5-star prediction reads. I'll link that video down below, and I totally trust Kerri Maniscalco to deliver. And the next book that I want to get to by the end of the spring is Magnolia Parks Into the Dark by Jessa Hastings. This is the 5th book in the Magnolia universe series, and it will pick up after the events of Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home, the 3rd book. If you didn't know, the books in the series alternate between 2 couples in the same friend group. So the first book follows Magnolia Parks and BJ, and the second follows Daisy and Christian, and the third is again about Magnolia and BJ. And the 4th is about Daisy and Christian, and now we have the 5th that should be about Magnolia and BJ. And the events kind of overlap between the books, so we get different POVs in each book, and also each book is a multiple POV book too. So the stories here are really interesting to read about, and this series follows a very rich group of friends in high society London and their relationships and their romances. Think Gossip Girl, but more mature, with gang lords and much more toxicity in the romances. Basically, it is one of the most addictive series ever. I mean, you know, I'm a fantasy romance girly through and through, but this one got me in a chokehold from the first book. Let me be clear, all these characters need serious therapy, but you will fall in love with them nonetheless. I think it's the mix of feelings that are packed in this series is what makes it so special. And the way Jessa Hastings writes about love and the characters' feelings is so heart-wrenching and unique. I just love it. Yeah, this apparently is turning into a review, so all of this just to say I need to read this, especially after where we left off. oh my god, it's neat at this point. And I know this is a chunker for a romance, but like there is a lot of drama happening always, all the time, and the writing style is so easy to fly through. So don't be intimidated if you are thinking about picking these books up. They will keep you turning the pages, I promise you. The next book that I really want to get to is this beauty here, The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy by Bannen. This is an adult fantasy romance, and in this book we have Hart, who is a marshal who patrols the magical wilds of this world and gets rid of the possessed corpses and takes them back to the Undertaker. And we follow Mercy, who is in charge of her family undertaking business. And Mercy and Hart have an antagonistic relationship until one day Hart finds himself penning a letter addressed simply to a friend. Much to his surprise, an anonymous letter comes back in return and a friendship starts there. A friendship is born. And they strike up a pen pal relationship without knowing who the other person is. And from what I've heard, there is a grumpy sunshine trope that I really adore. And we have hilarious, lovable side characters, and I'm so excited to pick this one up finally. The next book that is on my spring TBR is Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries. This is an adult, cozy fantasy romance. It is very popular. 100% you've already heard about this a million times before. That I am desperate to reread so I can go ahead and pick up the sequel. In this book, we follow a Cambridge professor, Emily. She's very good at what she does, which is studying fairies, but she's definitely not good with people. And she journeys to a small town in the far north to study fairy folklore and discovers dark fae magic. And as she's settling in, Emily receives a letter from one of her Cambridge colleagues, Wendell, informing her that he's planning to join her. And she's horrified because she loves to work alone and she does not want anyone to interfere. And because she knows that she struggles with human connection, this one is a must read for me this spring because I really want to pick up the sequel as soon as possible. The next book, or more accurately, a series that I want to start is The Bond That Ties series. I want to start reading Broken Bonds. This is a paranormal fantasy reverse harem romance. I want to just tackle this series as soon as possible. I keep hearing the greatest reviews about it, and I know it's not for everyone because it's a reverse harem. To be honest, I've never read about multiple love interests at the same time, but a lot of people said that this one is a good one to start because the plot is actually very interesting and it's not only about the physical aspects of the relation, if you know what I mean. So I'm very excited to dive into this series finally. The next book that I really want to get to, I have been anticipating the release of this book since last year. Finlay Donovan Rolls the Dice. You know that I love this series with all my heart. It is a comfort read for me. When I want to have a good time and a great laugh, this is the one I go to. It is a cozy thriller mystery at its best, and I cannot wait to pick up the fourth book in the series, Finlay Donovan Rolls the Dice. And the next book that I really want to get to, and it is one of my anticipated releases of 2024 too. It is The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. This is the sequel to The Stolen Heir, and it is the fifth book in the Folk of the Air series. If you haven't picked up this series yet, what are you doing? Go pick it up right now because you're missing out on one of the most iconic enemies to lovers ever. And not only that, but the most mischievous, scheming characters in a magical, deadly political setting that will seriously rock your world. It is one of my absolute favorite YA fantasy series of all time, and I talked about it more in detail in my video about books that I would sell my soul to read again for the first time. I will link that video down below. That one has great recommendations that are all very close to my heart. I just want to know, I'm desperate to know, what is going to happen in Oak and Wren's story, but I will definitely be rereading The Stolen Heir first. And yeah, that was it for me today, book besties. That was all the books that I really want to get to this spring. If you made it this far, leave me the butterfly emoji and let me know if any of these books are on your TBR too. And if you enjoyed the video, subscribe and join the beautiful community of book besties. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!